Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. Alright, so we are nearing the end of our inaugural season of Motorsport Manager. This is episode number 5. We are down in the GP3 category, and we are 9th place among 10 teams, which is actually one spot better than I expected to be this first season. Our last race, we had our lowest finish of the year, just picking up a small handful of points, down in 17th and 18th position in that race. Our balance has become a major concern, though. We were in the red, and we had to go to the chairman in order to get back in a positive way, and it took half of our chairman's support in order to do that. And we are still at a point where we look to lose money and get back in the red just after this race if we aren't able to achieve any of our sponsorship bonuses in this next race, or find some other way to accumulate just a couple $1,000s. We have just 2 races left to go in the season, and we're going to go ahead and head into the first one of those right now. With the only one that we really have any sort of shot of actually making, we're going to take the 11th place or above, go for that 300,000, which would get us where we need to be. Let's see if there's any parts to fit. There shouldn't be, as we have not changed. That really hurts the performance level 0 on these engines. Got a bad car, we've got a bad team. We have some decent drivers, but their contracts expire here soon, and we're actually probably going to have to let them go because they add up to 500,000, better than 500,000 per race in expenses, and we just can't afford that. The fill-in drivers, replacement drivers, only cost $1,000 a race, so we can turn that $500,000 around next season and have an absolutely pitiful performance, but actually be able to turn that money into improving the team itself. Now I might look for drivers, super cheap drivers that have good marketability, and see what we can do with that. But as of right now, scouting wise, our options are pretty limited. We actually got a little bit of a late start on that scouting, and there's not too many options out there, but there's plenty of drivers right now that do not currently have gigs, and we might be able to sign on the cheap and actually turn it into something profitable for the team and be better than those replacement drivers, but certainly not be the quality racer that this team needs by any point. Alright, let's get back out there. Okay, so we have Tondela. This is the Portugal race, and it is again race 7 of 8. We're nearing the end of this first season. High tire wear, medium burn, 25 lap race. Alright, so we are heading into the practice session today. looks like we're gonna have to make some major adjustments, but it's nice that we're already down to just this small area to tune in the downforce for the race. Looks like we have just a subtle difference in tires. It's going to take 2 stops anyway. We might just run with the softs. We'll run 1 through practice, more than enough to get through the race. If we increase speed, there's a good difference between the two. And 3 sets would get us through the race. Alright, now I'm going to make the assumption that our other driver was onto something, and it means we should be somewhere in this area for the downforce. We're going to push all the way out. And they only have 9 to 11 laps per, but it looks like we're looking at a 25 lap race. So we'll see, even if Anthony has to run a single session on the mediums, we'd still gain time overall running softs. Alright, so we're going to head into the practice session. These are short practice sessions. We only have 12 minutes, so it is not long to try to lock the car in. And away we go. Gomez and Anthony heading out onto the track. And it looks like everybody's going to be heading out. Well, field's about 50-50 on the softs and the medium tires on what they're planning on running. This is one of the longer tracks out there, so we're going to have to no, it's not too bad. But we are going to have to keep track on our setup here more than anything else. Alright, they're starting their initial hot lap now. We used up about 8% just to run 1 lap. And that took just about 2 minutes. There's going to be 25 laps in the race, and if there's going to be 2 stops, 3 sets of tires. We're going to need 8 or 9 laps out of each set of tires, and if it's an 8% burn, so yeah, we should be able to just make 10 laps if we really squeeze it out. Probably 9 laps per set of tires. That should get us just to the end. Alright, we've got our 2 initial laps run. We're going to bring both cars in and start getting the fine tuning so we can run a little bit faster on a race day, which again we desperately need a top 11 finish in this next race if we're going to maintain a positive balance. Unless something else out there triggers to give us a little bit of financial support. Alright, looks like the downforce paid off. We're decent setup on the handling. We've got a ways to go on the speed balance, but none of it's terrible. So 88% on our first go. A little bit fortunate there, but don't know which direction to go from here. So we're going to try moving that way towards the acceleration side, and we might move towards oversteer on this side. We'll see what happens. Alright, we're going to stick with the tires we have to save time, head back out to the track. Setup's actually looking a little bit better on this side, 91%. We didn't totally lock in the downforce, but we are close. It was a good idea to push it well over here to try to mimic the other mechanics' recommendation. And it was at a full 20, so we'll try that. And we'll do the same thing. We'll see if it pays off. Handling's close. Alright, we'll see what we get from this. And we're going to speed up time as we get out there. And we might actually come back in quickly. We have gotten a setup level unlocked. Bring in Gomez. Right away, take the feedback. Might let Anthony go one lap here. Handling feels much better. That's good. So we went the right way on that one. Oh, excellent. Alright, the setup's already close to being locked in. We are at 98%. Fantastic. So we're going to just make a tiny adjustment to the handling and see if we can't fully lock that in, but it's going to be hard to get that speed balance separated from the handling without messing up the other one. So I'm actually just going to send it right back out. I'm not going to make a change. We're going to take that 98% and call it good. In that case, I'm not going to bring Anthony in because I think Anthony should be pretty close as well. Anthony's already gone past and starting a hot lap here. We'll go ahead and let this lap go and then bring Anthony in on the next one to try to fine tune whatever we have to get their setup all the way up. Alright, and we'll bring Anthony in on this lap. Unfortunately, we are the slowest runners as of right now. But if the setup's there, the setup's there. That'll help us on race day. And yes, we got really close here as well. We're at 97%. The downforce is a little easier to make adjustments on without affecting these two, so we will go ahead and try to make a small adjustment. We'll bring it a little more to the left. Want to mess that up? Well, we'll see what happens. Alright, that should do it for this session. We're going to be heading to the race here in just a moment. Looks like we get the cars locked in pretty well, and they should be ready to go on race day. Not too worried about the times being what they were as we ran a single set of tires all the way through, and they were pretty worn down by the end of the session. So we were not pushing for speed or anything there, so not a big deal that we were at the bottom. And of course, our cars are a lot weaker than the others, so it is what it is. Alright, so we head into race day. Again, our major objective today is to see if we can get one car into the top 11. We are going with a bold strategy today of trying to run the soft tires throughout the race. We've got a 30% performance bonus overall. Should help us pick up a decent amount of speed. Alright, so our adjustment here did not pay off. We dropped down. So we're going to reset this, and we'll just go ahead and take the 20%. Or not. We are going to make adjustments. Okay, that was seen as excellent. We're in a good spot. That was seen as great before, but when we moved to the left, it lowered us by 3%. So that might get us back to about 98 or 99. I don't want to mess with the rest of the settings too much. So, alright, we are set on the soft tires. We've got that 30% bonus. So fuel's not going to be as big of a factor in this one, as we're going to be running about 10 laps, well, about 9 laps each of the first 2 sessions, maybe 8 the first time around. And we'll set up our driver strategy. We have more fuel to burn, so we're definitely going to go on the up here early on. I don't want to push tires too hard, as they've got to get us within those 3 sets of tires, and just 2 pit stops to the end of the race. So with the reverse starting grid, we're going to be in 3rd and 4th starting this race. All the front runners are in the soft tires. Gomez gets a good start. Anthony does very poorly. But one of the other cars runs super wide on the start, and it looks like we are 5th and 6th after just a couple corners, and quickly moving backwards. Are our cars that much slower? We continue to shuffle back quickly and easily. Thought we might hold our position a little bit longer than we are, but we are definitely heading towards the back where our car really belongs. So we're in 7th and 10th respectively right now. Gomez about to drop all the way to 9th. 2 cars, 1 quarter. Definitely a bad sign. Alright, we're back off fuel just a little bit. Now these cars in the way back are going to be even faster, as they are the top cars in the series. So at this point, the top 11 finish, at least from these first couple laps, looks well out of reach. No sign of rain, at least for the first quarter of the race. That forecast does not get us very far, as we can only see a few minutes at a time. Anthony continues shuffling back down to 13th now, about to be 14th. Gomez at least is hanging on fairly well, just slipped to 10th. So we are currently on lap number 3. Anthony's slide to the back is not far from being complete, but Gomez at least is providing us some sort of competitive racing. But as we get caught in the middle, 2 cars, 2 teammates go either side of us, both going for the pass at the same time. We went 3 wide and somehow came out still in front of them, but a couple turns later, one of their cars gets us, and the following turn, the other one gets us. We are down to 12th. Looks like we've got a yellow flag, but it is just a localized yellow. So we at least are guaranteed we will not be in last place of this race. But that's still a long ways off from the 11th that we desperately need. Current standings, 12th and 14th. Anthony at least hanging on to that back group, but one of them just slipped by. And as soon as they did, immediately pulled away. So we definitely do not have any speed coming out of the corners in this car. Alright, so we're in lap number 4, and a quick check on tire wear. The tires still have not heated up, even though we've been running them a little bit hard throughout the race now, but we will have to back off a little bit here soon to maintain whatever we have left. Both cars are just a little bit under 60% right now, which should get us comfortably where we need to be in order to run the softs throughout the race, and maybe, just maybe, keep us competitive and not running last behind everybody else, though we are now down to 14th and 16th. And Gomez just about got past there, but does hang on to the position. And actually, for once, looks to challenge for position ahead as they are getting all caught up. But as the mess in front of him goes on, it slows him down a little bit, and he nearly gets past, but he is able to make a pass. So Gomez completes our first successful pass of the race, but immediately loses it and one more position, dropping to 15th. Both cars are just about running hot on those tires. We are on lap 6. Tire wear wise, we've got probably 2 laps, maybe 3 left. We're not going to be able to pit them at the same time, so one of them will probably pit 2 laps from now. Anthony is a bit lower on the tire wear, so we'll probably bring in Anthony first. Let's take a first look at condition, see how the cars are doing. Anthony's car is holding up nicely, as is Gomez's car. So no concerns there. First round of pits has started, and we move up a number of spots, but that should reset itself here very soon. And Anthony, is this lap I want to bring Anthony in? No, I'm going to wait one more lap. We have enough tire left. We might as well. If we pit too soon, we're going to have to go to the mediums, which all of those who did pit already, all 5 of them, came back out with the medium tires, so we might actually be able to gain a little bit on them in that next cycle by running the softs. Alright. Anthony's tires are getting dangerously low, but this is the lap we're going to bring Anthony in. So we're going to go ahead and set up our first pit stop. We're going to stick with the softs. Tire wear, fuel. Fuel is looking low, so let's go ahead and do a full fill up. And what's the difference? 3 seconds for an 11% risk. Well, let's go for it. We're going to go for it this race. We really need to get that 11th place if possible. Both cars are running nose to tail, so either car could do what is necessary to get us over the top. Gomez at 26% should be able to get around one more lap and then come in. We are now at the very back end of the cars that have not come into pit yet. Everybody behind us has already pit, and we actually have a pretty small gap to the first car, who has not yet come in. So we are going to suffer on that front. Alright, we're going to back up a little bit so Gomez can make it around one last time without burning everything they've got left. Alright, Anthony's in the pits. So far so good. Down to just the fueling. And no mistakes. Alright, well done on the pit stop. Time is gained, but Anthony does come out in 16th place ahead of 3 cars and on soft tires. Alright, Gomez, better back off here. Gomez is only a half a lap from running out of fuel, and we need to set up that pit stop. Alright, we're going to put on softs. We're going to fill up. We're going to stick with this risky strategy to see if it can pay off for us in this race. We only have 2 races to go in the season anyway. And our biggest thing is trying to come out of this race in the green. Alright, so 13 seconds for this pit stop if all goes well. Gomez currently running 4th, but there's only the 4 cars left to pit. Only 1 car has continued on, not yet pitting. Gomez is in the pits. Good on the jacks. Good on the tire change. Down to just the fueling. Where's Gomez going to come out? Fueling is done. Gomez heading out behind Anthony. And just in front of the purple car there, Nui. And we are running 15th and 16th after that round of pit stops. Alright. Let's go ahead and pick up the intensity. Anthony's a lap off now on the pit stop strategy. And it looks like Gomez, who came out in front of Nui, has actually fallen behind Nui now. Even though we are on fresh soft tires and Nui's on the medium tires, we still end up losing that position. Alright, so most of the field with that final car actually pitting right now. Most of the field is out on the medium tires this time around to try to set themselves up for a short run to the finish. We're going to go ahead and speed up time as it's going to be a while before we have anything to continue. I do need to keep an eye on Anthony's tires here as they are approaching hot. I'll go ahead and drop those down a little bit. The fuel burn worked out pretty well for us in that first go, and as long as we have no condition issues, everything's holding up. The nose on both cars is taking a little bit of a beating, but both cars are doing fine there. Alright, so we are now on lap 15. We have 10 laps to go in the race. We are approaching that point where the tires would, after one more pit stop, would get us to the end of the race. We're seeing a number of cars making their second pit stops now. There's actually a couple cars ahead of us in the field that have already pit twice. Alright, so we are now good to go to the end as we have just 8 laps to go till the end of this race. Currently, cars are running 7th and 8th. But don't believe all the hype. There's a lot of cars that have already made their final pit stop, but are running the medium tires again. So we might actually have a small advantage here going in that virtually all of the field is running differently than us. Now, Anthony is down to 17% on those tires and low fuel. So we need to bring Anthony in this time. We'll bring in Gomez next time, which also means we can use up whatever we have left in those tires, but let's not do it all at once. Let's go ahead and push you in till the end, and we're gonna pit this time. We're gonna put on those softs again. We're going for it. We're gonna do what we can. We don't need a We'll fill up unless we want to run hard. We're going to run hard. Let's go ahead and fill up. Take that extra second, but we're taking it back by pushing. Alright, here we go. So Anthony's going to pit this time. Gomez is going to pit next time. Kind of like how we are side by side throughout this race. There's been very little gap between the two drivers. Alright, Anthony's in the pits. So far so good. Heading into just fueling now. And Anthony's done, heading back out. Currently 16th, 17th, 18th position, side by side. Alright, Gomez is going to be next. And we're going to bring Gomez in this time. We're not going to quite go for the fill up. Only have 7 laps to go for the end. This will give us plenty of burn off, but save us a couple seconds on the pit stop. Alright, so Anthony comes out just one spot above last place, not where we wanted to be. We have the excess fuel that we are already working on burning. We'll see what Anthony can do to get us ahead of someone, anyone. But here comes Gomez into the pits now. Final pit stop of the day. Can the pit crew stay perfect? So far so good, no mistakes, just fueling left to finish up. We're saving a couple seconds here, so we'll come out a bit further up the field. We're down to 15th now, and yes, we are at least in 15th place. However, we are 4 spots below where we desperately needed to be. So Gomez still has some excess fuel. In fact, our 2 cars are neck and neck when it comes to amount of fuel left, so pitting that lap later, plus the additional of backing off by about a lap and a half, has balanced things out with these 2 cars. The only difference is we were able to gain a couple seconds on the track, but Gomez now is being tailed heavily by Nui, who made the pass on Anthony last time after coming out of the pits. We have just 5 laps to go, and we're going to be able to push strong to the end. In fact, we have enough fuel, I think, to burn this a lot harder and faster than we are. So we're going to push. Gomez just hanging on to 15th. That's not what we want to be. We want to be pushing towards 11th. So we're probably not going to get the result we need today. There's no more pit stops to come. Everybody is done on the pit stop, so the cycle is over. And we're right back where we belong, in the back of the field. And if you look from the track markers, the map, we've got a huge gap after 14th up to 13th. So 11th is well ahead of us. And really, you can see the struggle. The struggle is real, just trying to hang on to 15th. In fact, Gomez running the risk of dropping all the way to 17th at this point. Anthony has been passed by Baptista, so Anthony is now the last car on the track. Not a strong performance by any means. We have 4 laps to go. Gomez is hanging on at least to 15th, but again, not where we want to be. Looks like Dennis in 17th has at least fallen back a bit. At least helping to secure 1 position, but I'm not sure Gomez is going to hang on much longer. Pass looks to be made. Gomez trying to hang on around the outside, does hang on through that turn. They are still side by side for 3, 4 turns now, 5 turns, and the pass almost complete. Gomez comes back up aside as we go for the home stretch. When they cross the line, Gomez at least stays. Somebody has had to pit. So a 3rd pit stop for Puccini. giving us one position on the grid. Gomez is now just 3 spots away from where we need an 11th. If somebody else, like Lot, might have to pit, or Alessi might have to pit, as they are looking very low on the tire wear department, we may just be able to squeeze this one out and get where we need to be. Fuel burn, we're still okay, as we're down to let's see, 2 laps, 2.2 laps to go. We have about 4 laps of fuel left, so we should be okay there. Gomez finally putting a little bit of distance on Nui, whose medium tires are now getting pretty rough. Calderon has also pit now, so we are now within 2 spots of 11th, and likewise Gomez is now closing the gap on Hughes in front and actually has a chance of making a pass there, which would put us just 1 position shy of the mark we need to be. But if you look on the track map, there's a massive gap. We are a full straightaway behind that next group, even if Gomez makes the pass. So we need somebody to pit, and here's another one. Aitken pitting. I think that was from 2nd place. So if we can get a middle runner like Lot to pit, there we go. Somebody's pitting from 10th. It is Lot. We are going to move up a spot into 12th, possibly. Yes, we are going to get ahead of them. We are now in 12th place. We are just 1 spot shy of where we need to be. Poor old Anthony is not going to make any headway in this race, as Anthony is kind of right down to it. I do need to watch that fuel burn, though. I don't know if we have enough to get all the way running overtake on the engine mode. Condition-wise, we're fine. We're at 30% on one category, but we're not hurting. We're going to make it there. We've got a little under a lap and a half to go, and fuel is down to 1.8 laps, so we do need to watch very, very closely as we go into this last lap. Gomez now just barely hanging on to 12th. Nobody else is going to pit. They're all going to push and try to get to the end. So if we are going to get to 11th, it's going to happen on the track with a pass, while we desperately try to hang on to a position and take a position. Not the situation we want to be in, but let's see if something can be done. Anthony is less than a second behind 2 cars in front, so Anthony has a chance to move up, but it's Gomez that we need. It's Gomez that we're tracking. It's Gomez who now is going to make it. They're going to make it. Okay, overtake. Let's go. Overtake mode. Come on, Gomez. Just a few turns to go. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cars up here. Gomez makes not 1 but 2 passes, as somebody looks like they might have run out of fuel heading into the end. We also might run out of fuel. We are very close, but I think we're going to just squeeze it across the line. Yes, 10th place. We are going to get that sponsorship bonus. We are going to hang on. Our financial dilemma is solved for the time being. We are going to go into the red in the next race, but the season will be over. We will get prize money for our standing, and that should be enough, just enough, for us to be safe and secure going into the next season. Our $500,000 a race, $500,000 per race fee for these 2 drivers, sadly, is going to have to come to an end. We are not going to be able to afford our 2 decent drivers, so our current situation of having poor quality everything is going to actually be everything in the near future, as the decent drivers that we have, we're going to have to let them go. Got to find a way to make this team profitable and capable of improving. Great job by Andre Gomez, picking up 2 spots in the final turns to get us into our sponsor objective, which in our current financial state was desperately needed. Faith Anthony does pick up 2 spots as well. We weren't paying attention to that battle, but those 2 cars that were just ahead, Faith Anthony was able to just squeeze by 1/10 of a second, not even a 1/10 of a second, between her and Jake Hughes. All right, well, we have one race left to go in the season, and we are at 95 points. We picked up 15 points on the day. We are just 10 points out of 8th place, but next season's looking to be a real struggle in that sophomore year for us. So we've got one race left to go, and then we'll be seeing what happens in the future as we head into a new season. But that does it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record.